In the new episode of Sports Nation, we are going to visit a sports complex equipped with the most technologically advanced swimming pool in Kazakhstan. We'll talk with Maria Auezova, the first woman in the world without legs who conquered the Everest base camp. At the end of the episode, we'll talk about cycling, an example, how to choose the right bike and protect yourself on the road. Hello. What do you want most in hot summer weather? I suppose that you want to be near the water, but since we live far from the seas and oceans, the best option is a pool. But this is not just a pool, this is a real complex to develop water sports. So here we are, Nur-Sultan City, Baris Arena Sports Center. Let's go to review. We are now in the heart of the sports complex. This is our main swimming pool of Olympic standards, 10 tracks of 50 meters long each. The complex itself can host international competitions in swimming, diving, synchronized swimming, and water polo. Almost 3,000 people can watch the water battles live. This is exactly how many people can be accommodated on the stands of the complex. Officially, Baris Arena is considered the most technologically advanced sports arena in the country. Its large-scale construction began in 2012. 3 years later, the Sports Palace hosted its first visitors and became an architectural decoration of the left bank of the capital. Most part of the building is allocated to the ice arena. Our first synchronized swimming school was launched in Nur-Sultan. At the moment, we train divers, free divers, and those who want to be trained in underwater hunting. Moreover, there is also a school for water sports. About 450 children are trained there. In total, about 1,000 people visit our pool every day. In 2020, the match of the Russian Water Polo Championship was held here, which was recorded in history of Kazakhstani sports. It happens that the national team Astana never played home matches in Kazakhstan before. The debut turned out to be bright, the victory over Spartak from Volgograd with a score of 12-9. Everything is divided into sections here. Divers on a springboard attract more attention. Their graceful somersaults leave no one indifferent. The highest springboard is located at a height of 10 meters. In Kazakhstan, this is a relatively young sport, and it is developing so far only in 3 cities, including Nur-Sultan. It is a very difficult coordination sport including gymnastics, work on a trampoline, and acrobatics resulting springboard diving. Not many people stay in this sport, only the bravest. Therefore, we always invite people to this sport, but we have a large dropout rate.
Поэтому у нас очень большой набор, но и очень большой отсев.
And here, the synchronized swimmers are practicing next to the divers. This is no less fascinating sport where you need to be able not only to move beautifully underwater, but also to hold your breath for a few minutes. This section in the Baris Arena is the first to appear in Nur-Sultan. Everyone is wondering, what is it? When children begin to perform elements, it is very effective for parents. The sport is really very beautiful, although it is very difficult. It takes a lot of time, but it is worth it. The water temperature in the pool should be 26-28 degrees. Just imagine that you have come to a bathhouse and are trying to run there. But if it is lower than stated, then you risk getting sick. The temperature and all processes related to water and the pool are monitored by a computer. Therefore, let's go to the ground floor to understand this technology. So we are now on the technical floor of the building. Here we have the pool's bottom view. Just think, there are now 2.5 million liters of water here. It is likely that the athletes behind this wall do not even assume that in order to make them swim comfortably, several key systems operate here.
Это комнатка фильтров, можно сказать, очистки воды.
This room is for filters and water purification. The water enters the water treatment plant, then it goes to the filter, called filters. Then it is poured into the pool. The water in the pool is constantly filtered. A full cycle of pool cleaning takes place within a month.
И где-то в течение месяца проходит полный цикл очистки полностью бассейна. Это станция дозирования.
This is a dosing station. Here the parameters of the pH and chlorine level are set. Chlorine is for deep freezing and pH is for water softening. When the level drops, this system automatically feeds them to improve water quality.
Либо pH, либо хлор для улучшения качества воды.
Previously, such facilities required numerous personnel, but today one person is enough to monitor the operation of the computer as the pool is cleaned by a robot here. Moreover, there are UV lamps for water disinfection. Upon completion of the pool operation, we start the robot vacuum cleaner. It cleans the bottom of the pool from all dust and dirt. And this is footage from the open training of our special athletes who regularly train in the Baris Arena pool. There are all the conditions for paradivers who, in turn, regularly bring medals from international starts. Everyone knows that a person gets used to society morally and psychologically. This is communication. It is not only physically, psychologically easier for a person to adapt through sports, not only by swimming, but by sports in general. Divers, synchro swimmers, jumpers, and even amateur water polo teams. In a short time, Baris Arena Sports Complex has become the center for the development of water sports, where visitors not only train hard, but find time for fun. Later on, we'll have an interview with Maria Auezova about climbing Mount Everest, a personal trainer and a new stage in life. In April 2021, Kazakhstani Maria Auezova became the first woman in the world without legs who conquered the Everest base camp. But before she went through years of grueling preparation, which later helped her become unique. For a long time, 31-year-old Maria Auezova was quite successfully engaged in para-powerlifting. She won victories at Republican tournaments, received the title of Master of Sports, and suddenly, then she changed her occupation and began preparing for the ascent to the highest point in the world. You made your dream come true, but how did it come about?
Вообще у нас цель была изначально на протезах.
Honestly, initially we wanted to get prostheses. I have been waiting for them for 3 years. Every day I thought, I'll get it soon, and I'll be able to get up and go to the base camp, but climb on prostheses. I did not receive them. And when we visited 3 peaks in Burabay, we felt that we had to go, that we were ready mentally.
Вот что мы готовы морально.
How much do the prostheses cost?
Да, такие протезы есть. Сейчас вот мы ведем переговоры.
Yes, such prostheses exist. We are currently negotiating with Moscow. The president's fund promised to give me money. It is not cheap. It costs about 35 million.
Там выходит около 35 миллионов.
How long have you been preparing to climb?
На самом деле подготовка была не очень.
In fact, the preparation wasn't long, about 6 months. It was just that Vadim understood that we were ready and we had to go. Were you aware of the big risks, altitude sickness?
Конечно, мы все это осознавали, мы все это обговаривали.
Of course, we were all aware of this. We discussed it and were aware of all the nuances. We passed where it was possible to pass. Somewhere we were passing in a wheelchair. Sometimes Vadim carried me on him. It would be stupid if I said that I went through everything myself. This is teamwork. We all knew that there could be difficulties, but the correct approach, professionalism, gave its result. At 7 a.m. we started, and by lunchtime we were at the next point. Vadim used to say, "We stop here." Usually he goes this way twice as fast. That is, it is clear when an ordinary person goes in an hour, we go there for 3.
Этот путь бы в 2 раза быстрее бы прошел. То есть, понятно, там, где человек нормальный проходит за час, мы там 3 идем.
What impressed you the most during the climbing?
Меня поразило все. Вообще, эта страна и вообще то, что я увидел. Вы знаете, мне даже в какой-то момент...
I was impressed with everything. Country, everything that I saw. When I had to take out my phone and take pictures, I just couldn't do it. I looked at that beauty and wanted it to remain in my memory. No need for photos or phones. This is an incredible country, beyond words.
Фото, телефоны, не надо. Это вообще невероятная страна.
So you can say that life is divided into before and after.
Конечно, если бы мне сказали 2 года назад, что я стану...
Of course, if 2 years ago I was told that I would become the first woman to rise to such a height in Nepal without legs, I would say no way.
Никогда. Но
I would never have believed it. I like that when we arrived in Nepal, Vadim's friend Pasank met us.
Вадима друг, Пасанг.
He said it was impossible. You cannot do this. Vadim asked him, "Have you ever seen people like Masha here, in this position, in a wheelchair?" He said, "No, I haven't."
Говорит, а ты здесь таких видел вообще вот людей?
So Vadim said, "Then how can you know whether it is possible or impossible if no one else has seen it?"
Он такой, ну откуда тогда ты можешь знать, возможно это или невозможно, если еще никто этого не видел?
Непал целый год просидел на карантине, не было абсолютно...
Nepal was under 1-year lockdown. They didn't have the opportunity to work, no tourists. And when they saw Masha, they were so happy. They were so happy to see foreign people. But it was Masha whom they hugged and smiled at. When we went into a cafe, everyone immediately got up so that the wheelchair could calmly come in. They treat such people as the embodiment of deity. This is such a gift, and for some reason it all happened. Such person has power now, and they want to touch this power.
Что у человека сейчас обладает какой-то силой, и они хотят к этой силе прикоснуться.
Maria lost her leg 6 years ago due to vascular disease. They had to be amputated above the knees. This is the so-called high amputation. For 2 years, doctors fought to save the limbs, but as a result, there was no other way but to cut them off.
Безусловно, было сложно в какие-то моменты.
It was definitely difficult. At some moments, I did not understand anything. I thought I would wake up now, everything is fine, this is a dream. My feet are all right. Such periods were difficult at first, but then, when we started working with Vadim, he turned my attitude towards life upside down. Probably then I finally understood that everything is fine. We live, we move on, and then we'll see how and what will happen.
Все нормально, Маш. Мы живем, мы двигаемся дальше, а там уже дальше посмотрим, как что будет.
You are living a fulfilling life today. You have a family, work, sports, people talk about you. You are a famous person. But this was not always the case. There were periods of self-acceptance. Tell us how you lived during this period. I think people with disabilities will understand me on how it all goes, because I cannot say it was all easy. How many years have you lived in moral confinement? The moral confinement was most likely with the legs. It was while the period of illness was going on. It was very difficult. How long was the adoption period? I can say that I'm happy for the last year and a half, 2 years. But before, it's hard to say. I had many physical problems, difficulties. I couldn't handle it. I could not do simple things. I couldn't get from the car to the wheelchair or from the wheelchair to the sofa. I could not go to the toilet on my own. I weighed a lot. I thought it was normal and all disabled people lived like that. There was only one thought, that I have no legs and that's it. Here I am. I drove myself into this situation. Now I can easily go out with my friends. I can tell my husband to go fishing for a week and he will live because he knows that everything will be fine. Even when I fall, I will be able to get up.
И он спокойно уедет, и он знает, что все будет нормально. Даже если я упаду, я все равно поднимусь.
Maria looked strong and cheerful, but it was clear that she still needed some kind of psychological help. For a year of communication, we became friends. We went on vacation with families and friends. We ran into the mountains, and she was sitting below waiting for us. And I had a dream of how to make Masha climb the mountain. I thought for a year, and then I understood what we had to do. Even if we move 10 centimeters, sooner or later we will reach the top, but it will be hard, of course.
Он требует такой же отдачи, как отдается он нам.
He demands the same give back from us that he makes his give to us.
Пришла когда к Вадиму, я весила 136 килограмм.
When I came to Vadim, I weighed 136 kilograms. Now I weigh 63. You see, this is a gradual growth. The first training, I did not succeed in many things. I had problems with breathing. And then gradually we began to increase physical activities. I think we will go even further and the results will be even better. This is my way of life. I can't refuse it now.
Образ жизни уже. Сейчас я от этого отказаться не смогу.
It is clear that your spouse plays a very important role in your life. However, not everyone has support at every moment and situation. In your case, is this an absolute support?
Да, абсолютная, безусловная поддержка от супруга, конечно, да, и от всех моих родных. Вообще меня во всех
Yes, absolute and unconditional. I have support from my husband and from all my relatives. They support me in all my endeavors. I understand that they also struggle internally because they worry about me. When they knew about Nepal, they said, "Come on, you can do it." But at the same time, they understood that it was almost impossible for a person in a wheelchair to do this. They will never stop me and always support me. They won't say, "You are disabled. Live like a disabled person." We have never had such conversations. They will never say that, and I really appreciate it.
Таких разговоров у нас не было никогда. Они никогда мне так не скажут. Это очень большая поддержка, и вообще я ее очень ценю.
Your husband, Mukhtar Auezov, has the same name as a rather famous person in Kazakhstan. Is he a relative of him? He is Auezov through E. He is not a relative, it's just a coincidence. And what does he do? He works in the printing industry with me. We work together. We have a small community of people with disabilities. Me, him, my sister, we work together. So you are colleagues. Did you meet at work? No, we met at a wedding of our friends. 12 years have passed. Do you plan to do Paralympic sports? No, I haven't such plans yet. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Даже говорю, 2 года назад, я вам сейчас приводила пример, что я даже подумать о таком не могла.
I said before that 2 years ago I could not even think about what I would do, what will happen. I don't know. Maybe we can swim across the sea? I have no answer to this question. I am often asked, why do I need this? What for? And I don't know how to answer this question. I think this is probably my way. I was directed and I follow it. I don't resist. I just trust people. Probably the most important thing is that you enjoy it all. Sure, there are moments when I think, Masha, what are you doing? I was sitting on Mount Kalapatar and thinking that my kidneys have failed there.
Я получаю удовольствие от того, что сейчас со мной в жизни.
But I never thought to turn back. I enjoy what is happening to me now. Each event is an incredible miracle for me, because I live now with incredible feelings. It's such a scam, of course, but it's cool.
Очень интересно. Это, конечно, такая афера, но она такая прикольная, классная.
You have already achieved a lot of what you planned. What is your dream now? My dream is to stand on my feet, to have prostheses.
Вот от этого избавиться.
Yes, and get rid of the wheelchair. I think it will happen soon.
Такая самая, пожалуй. Ну, я думаю, у нас получится.
Maria, thank you very much for the interview. It was very nice. Good luck. Thank you. Later on in this episode, we will tell you about how to choose the right bike and protect yourself on the road. Let's get acquainted. Emilia Iskakova is the champion of Kazakhstan among juniors in cycle track, a silver medalist of the Asian Championship in road cycling. However, despite all the regalia, the majority of Kazakhstanis learned about her during the period of quarantine, when she got a job in the delivery service, and for 2 months she delivered food on a bicycle. I don't think this should be surprising. Then there were times when you had to go out. So I chose a delivery job rather than staying at home. Experts advise everyone, regardless of gender, age and profession, to take a bike ride because people who regularly ride a bike live longer and get sick less often. This conclusion was made by scientists from the University of Otago in New Zealand. Experts conducted this study for 15 years, and about 80% of the able-bodied population of the island state became its participants. So let's start by choosing a bike. Generally, they can be divided into 4 types: urban, highway, stunt, and mountain. The most popular is the urban bike. Its main advantages are comfort and functionality. The handlebars are positioned above the saddle and are height adjustable, so the driver's sitting position is straight like on a chair, and the seat is wide and soft. It is very important to choose a bike for your occupation. For example, I have a racing sports bike. It is for those who want to practice professionally, drive at high speed, participate in competitions. It is not suitable for city and cross-country driving. If you want just to move around the city, you need to choose an easier bike. It will cost cheaper. Just imagine that you got on your bike and started riding slowly. Within 10 minutes, the first changes will begin to occur in the body. The metabolic rate will increase. That is, you will begin to burn excess weight. Blood will flow to the brain and you will feel cheerful and happy because cycling is a recognized source of endorphins. If you want to move along the road, then you must definitely wear a helmet. You cannot go without a helmet. You also need to move in line with the cars, not in the opposite direction as some people do, but in the same direction with cars. A bicycle on the road is less noticeable than a car, and even a motorcycle. Moreover, many drivers prefer to ignore the cyclist, thus they endanger the cyclist's health and life, and their freedom, of course. We still can notice the driver's aggression towards the cyclists. They deliberately begin to pinch. Therefore, it is not recommended for beginners to ride outside the special bike path. Do not forget to take care of your bike. Timely washing can extend its service life by several years. Some people do not wash it at all. However, this should be done once a week, or at least once a month if you rarely use your bike. You also need to wipe the chain because of the oil. It accumulates a lot of dust and the wear of mechanisms goes faster. The episode ends with the video of the week column. In the previous episode, we told you about Igita, the goalkeeper of the Kazakhstan national team, and his family. Unfortunately, not everything that we wanted to show was included in the program. The interview with the futsal star was interrupted by his daughter, Clara, and that moment touched the entire film crew. On this note, we end our program. Subscribe to Kazakh TV YouTube channel and follow us online.